guys, today I wanted to cover off the law of oneness or unity consciousness in the context of what I always talk about with the law of assumption and correspondence. I want to talk about entanglement, like quantum entanglement, and also the difference between 3D and 4D communication, because the truth of the matter is we are always communicating with one another because we're all connected, okay? So this is why actually the law of assumption does work, and why people can completely change their environment, their situation with a person, etc., by shifting themselves, their inner state. And the law of oneness is really important to comprehend, understand, guys, because as I said, there's no separation between you and any person. We're all connected through this unified field. And so we are all individual expressions of one consciousness, but it is you within your little bubble of your expression of consciousness that is perceiving things and pushing things out, thought transmission, emitting emotions, frequencies, etc. So even if someone is at a great distance, whether it be a friend, your SP, or anyone, we're always feeling one another, okay? Especially when you're tapped into another energy, right? Like someone that you are aware of, that's part of your personal reality. And so all of creation is interconnected through this field of consciousness, and different forms, different people, different events, etc. Are occurring, but there's all one source expressing itself through different lenses, and all that really matters when it comes to the law of assumption is your personal lens, okay? So there is no me versus them, there is no true separation, but your entire experience is actually dictated by your lens. So for a lot of you that are on my channel that are wanting change, say with an SP, or trying to manifest love, it is kind of essential for you to stop seeing yourself as like separate from people, or to see them as independent of you, and to rather see them as a mirror of your thoughts and assumptions, guys. So oneness really means, or in the context of, you know, law of assumption or the mirror principle, that whatever you think and assume is being emitted, and there is like an energetic instruction that's being pushed out consciously or unconsciously that's being reflected back. And that is kind of like the foundation also of the law of assumption. Whatever you assume to be true consciously or unconsciously will be shown to you and validated. And quantum entanglement also talks a lot about, you know, in physics, that, you know, particles can be connected so deeply that the state of one correlates with the other, okay? So even across a distance, you have to kind of ask yourself questions, because a lot of you in my community and in the spiritual community, often, you know, you're very aware of telepathy. You're like, I can hear my person, I can feel my person. You often think of a friend and then they text you really quickly, or you might think of something and it just pops up in your reality very quickly, okay? So actually everything is interconnected through you and your observation, right? And so spirituality is teaching us that there is just this one consciousness, but that you are in fact the dictator of your own personal experience. And a lot of you treat like the friend that you have telepathy with that texts you randomly when you think of them as different from your, say, SP, because you have some kind of beliefs or assumptions about them and you're emitting something specific towards them and having a certain experience. So I want to talk about like 3D communication versus like 4D and beyond. So in 3D, you know, there's words, text, body language, etc. And, you know, what we can touch, smell, hear, taste through a lens, again, guys. And the fourth dimension is the dimension of thought, imagination, frequency, etc. And communication never stops. So even when you believe that you're in silence with a specific person, you never really are. And because of oneness, you're in a dialogue with someone is like a direct broadcast into the field, and they are feeling that, okay? Sometimes it is specific words, and sometimes it is just like, you know, a frequency. So they're perceiving it. And so you can sense someone thinking of you, they can pop in your dreams, and vice versa. And a person can, you know, shift very quickly when you shift your thoughts about them, because we talked about this in other videos. You're entangled with them, but you're actually the one that is commanding your reality beyond the 5 senses, because as soon as you shift your frequency through thought, through observation, and whatever you're emitting from that place, and your identity, the version of you that you're being and how you're observing, then people are responding to that, okay? So a lot of people, they block their manifestations by putting a lot of conditions on specific manifestations, okay? You're manifesting all the time, but I gave the example of friend versus SP. They think, I know that they love me, but, etc., etc. So you're reinforcing a lot of conditions on a situation, and you're not realizing that you're actually emitting or transmitting a frequency of exactly what you are putting out there. The person loves you, but they whatever, don't want to reach out, haven't reached out, etc. And you're reinforcing from one state of consciousness and observation that exact experience. You're entangling with a version of a person that matches your conditioned state, okay? I hope this is making sense. Now, in the context of tarot and tarot readings, because you guys know that I love to do the tarot, but I always overemphasize even in my readings, this is how they're feeling, this is how you're feeling. And it's really all about what's going on between you and them energetically, and it's all through you, okay? It's a dynamic that you're broadcasting. So they do have independent thoughts and feelings, but those thoughts and feelings do shift with you, okay, guys? Have you ever had like an argument with a person in your head and then suddenly you're arguing with them in real life, for example? Or, you know, your friend that you have a great friendship with, you assume that they're going to text you, you think of them, they text you, okay? So the cards are reflecting your state, your thoughts, your transmission of frequency, and, you know, where your focus is. And so tarot is a great reflection of that. It also shows you your subconscious patterns, like if you're in the habit of experiencing the same pattern with a person or with romantic partners, well, you are the one that keeps collapsing potentially the same result. For example, guys, a lot of you have been in relationships, and you could see a tarot reading. If you've had a fight with your specific person, the tarot is going to very much reflect that. Like, the cards are very accurate reflections of energy. Does that mean that your relationship is definitely in the shitter? Or if you just change and you shift your focus and you say, no, we're better than ever, or no, we have a great relationship, well, you can actually shift. It's not the tarot that's deciding, well, that's it, it's the end of the world. It's you, your thoughts, and what you're pushing out. So if you change your inner conversations, your thoughts, or the identity that you are, like, for example, I know that that person loves me, or if you're in no contact from a 3D perspective, which, by the way, it's so malleable. We've talked about this in so many videos, like, they can't get enough of me, they're reaching out any minute now. With that naturalness that you have with someone else, where you're not putting a ton of conditions, I don't care what was perceived from one state or what conversation or how things played out from your lens in one version of reality. If you can shift that without all the conditions, etc., and with focus, it must be mirrored back, okay? So people do say, you know, that's crazy, that's delusional, etc., but only if you feel bound by the idea of the 3D construct and have the illusion of separation. And I have said many times that there are infinite versions of reality you can experience, or a person, through your state and what you are projecting, and they're reflecting, okay? You're never forcing anyone to do anything, just like you're not forcing your friend to text you. You're aligning with a version of, say, a specific person. I don't care what the circumstances or conditions are, or third parties, or what they said before, or whatever. You're connecting with them through an infinite field. They are receiving you, and they're compelled to act on it. Even Neville Goddard talked about that a lot, okay, guys? So, you know, you are basically shifting states all the time. If you persist in the state of, that person is wanting me, loving me, we're together, or we have a perfect connection, it must be mirrored back to you. So your inner dialogue is the conversation also that they are receiving, okay? So your dominant frequency, the version of you that you're being, what you're pushing out, because as Neville said, everyone is you pushed out in your personal reality, okay? You're therefore then going to entangle with a different version of them, okay? And you will have shifts that are faster than what you would imagine if you can just persist in that. So that is why a lot of coaches or content creators do talk about selecting new thoughts or other sort of tools and techniques, but really essentially is just persisting in a focused direction towards that person. How are you focusing on them? And it could be wildly different to the way that you were focusing just previously a moment ago, because also we understand that everything exists in the now moment beyond the 3D construct of time, space, sort of like an illusion. It's like the illusion of separation, okay? So you are the one that is actually dictating your entire show through who you're being and how you're focusing, okay? And therefore what you're emitting, and things are moving around completely according to that. And your perception is key. So if you keep perceiving someone as, they don't want me, I don't care, guys. Like literally, if you had a fight with a person a second ago, if you can be a little bit disciplined and say, well, that was just whatever, it doesn't matter, and detach, not be so emotionally engaged as that is a fixed thing, and then go down this hole of doom and gloom and say, well, this is how they are, or this is permanent, or no, now they're going to leave me, etc. If you can just understand that everything is through you and a lens, and as soon as you shift and you change, just never mind, like completely shift and pick the opposite or transmit something different, the situation can turn in a moment. And it also doesn't matter if you have been quote unquote in no contact for a perceived X amount of time that might seem very long. If you can stop putting conditions and all these kind of things on what you are emitting and just go, this is why a lot of people say go to the end. Just keep it very clean. So you can go from no contact to contact very fast, or you can go from a situation where someone said, I never want to see you again and broke up with you, to I can't live without you very quickly, but you're only limited by your own identity, beliefs, thoughts, assumptions, okay? And that is what you're pushing out, and everyone in your personal reality is mirroring that. So this is a follow-up to my last video where I said if you are manifesting an SP or love, stop shit-talking yourself and them, because they are receiving you, okay? Maybe not in specific ways though, guys. I mean, I certainly know that I've tested it out and I've had people parroting back specific words that I have affirmed, but also they are just feeling you, and it's one state. So the state is your identity. So change your identity to the version of you that's like, no, one, I am operant power. I'm God consciousness, having my human experience. I'm choosing my human experience, which I can shift all the time with my perception and my thoughts that I'm pushing out, who I'm being. Two, I'm the version of me. They absolutely love me, want to talk to me. Detach from anything that you perceived before, because it's shifting with you, okay? And that is the secret sauce. That is how you can actually have a massive, massive, unbelievable, what you would say seems illogical and unbelievable change really, really quickly. So guys, I hope that that kind of clarified things a little bit for some of you. You can let me know in the comment section, or if you have any questions. Also, this is what I go through with you guys in my course, Shifted, where we talk all law of assumption, manifesting consciousness. We talk about also the practical application of that, embodying it, taking you through that. And you know, also how it applies to specific people, no matter what conditions or circumstances have been perceived before, and help you to get yourself back into your power, which you always have, guys. You always have the power, full stop. I'm sending you guys so much love, and I will see you in the next one.